Funding for This Is Nashville comes from Burr and Foreman Law Firm, serving clients with transactional, litigation, and regulatory needs. Discovering how each client defines a win and working with them every step of the way to achieve it. Burr.com.
I'm Blake Farmer, and this is Nashville. Preparing for this episode was a pure joy because I had a very good excuse to just scroll and scroll. TikTok, YouTube, pick your poison. You'd be tempted to call our guest this hour a content creator. But the deeper you go in her well of rants and bits and sketches, you realize she's not trying to sell you anything, just make you smile and make you think sometimes. And you don't just smile because it's funny, but because it reminds you of someone. It's just so spot on, like Patsy from the clerk's office.
How you been doing, girl? Or is this one yours? She's so pretty. Let's fill that out. I tell you what, we're gonna have to order lunch before I eat every single one of these mints. I'm gonna call in an order. Who's that does the fish on Fridays? It's Ray's, isn't it? Up there in Whitley City. I'm calling it in. Hey, Carla. I reckon I'm doing all right. I think I'm gonna do that catfish. I want the fries. Yins do that sweet potato casserole, right? Okay, I'm gonna get me some of that too. Is your potato salad good? I'll do me some potato salad too. What do you want, Sarah? Chef salad. With no meat. Lord, that's an unhappy chef, isn't it? Probably ranch. She's saying vinaigrette. They call it balsamic. Balsamic's fine. Paula, you want something? Yes. Hey, you're gonna be here a while. Paula wants something too. Yes, you do. What do you want? That's it. She's just wanting a loaded baked potato and then a chocolate cake. We're gonna share it. I'm gonna send Sarah up there to get it.
Well, that is Andi Marie Tillman, daughter of Appalachia, East Nashville transplant. Welcome to This Is Nashville.
Hey, Blake. I'm tickled to be here.
Yeah, like can you even break yourself out of talking like Patsy after you've been with her for a while?
Listen, if you give me a lifesaver, I can jump right into her whole story, her whole family.
Well, that's just why is she always eating a mint? Yeah, chomping them.
I don't know. It's the way a person talks is my entry point. That or a wig. And to me, it was as soon as I put that lifesaver in my mouth, I thought I built an entire person. Like I know her children's names. I know what she brings to Thanksgiving, all that stuff.
Who is she? Is she somebody who you actually have in mind? You're like, I know this woman.
I feel like my characters are an amalgamation of people. Of course, when somebody else sees them, I think they say, you remind me of so-and-so. But I do know that person exists in every county. There's always the administrative person that's kind of holding the whole thing together. You know what I'm saying? So she's kind of a lifesaver. That's the funny thing about.
Well, and she's ordering lunch there, but really in the other clips you see how she knows how things work and she kind of helps everybody, navigate. Like, hey, you don't want to do that. Hey, make sure you do this paperwork.
Yeah.
And, she's not just about lunch.
No, she's not just about. She's ordering lunch there because she knows everybody's lunch order, but she if you call, she's going to get it done for you.
Yeah. Well, she's so mundane in a way. It's just like office work and yet so interesting. Like, how do you make a character like that just irresistible?
Because I don't see that as mundane. I really appreciate the everyday. That's been the exciting thing about all this stuff blowing up, as they say, is I don't know that I appreciated all these people when I was there, but now that I've been able to take a step back, I think kind of what an enchanted life I lived because of the characters I passed by.
Wow. Well, we're going to spend some time in Scott County coming up, but I wanted to kind of just get the story of how you started posting these things. Like, did you have the idea? Did you hop on the TikTok train during, COVID when so many people did, or who pushed you?
I was actually post-COVID with all of my stuff. Really, after COVID, I was like many other people. I was lost. I thought I had tried to get back into acting 3 years prior and had landed some roles, a couple of commercials, a couple of short films, this and this and that. And I had done a couple bits live in like music shows that I had of characters. So people in my friend group were aware that I did characters. And I just always had people tell me, gosh, I wish I could see more of those characters live. Have you heard about TikTok? And I didn't. I was like, I wasn't a Luddite, but I really didn't. I don't know why. I just never got curious about it. And then 2022, I think it was, I downloaded the app and I started like putting random stuff there. And it wasn't until I posted a video of this character I have called Papaw, and it was him meeting his friend at Hardee's that it went viral overnight. And I had never experienced virality. And I thought, what is this? This is weird.
Wow. If you're just joining us, our guest this hour is entertainer Andi Marie Tillman. Why not go to Papaw? I don't know how many people have an actual Papaw. I have a Papaw. My Papaw was quieter than this guy. He didn't say that kind of Papaw.
Oh, yeah.
This Papaw has more to say, but he wears a plain white T-shirt, overalls, his cap from the feed store or something. He's looking over a pair of very smudged glasses. And it's not just what he says, it's also the noises.
Hey, what you say, buddy? Oh, that's good coffee. What? I don't know why I can't find nothing. Well, yeah. Bye.
Is this your Papaw?
This is based on many men that I would run into in my hometown. They all sat at this place called the Liar's Table. And there's kind of a liar's table, I feel like, in every southern town. And the attire is based on my Papaw. My Papaw had his bibs, and then he had his good bibs,
By bib, you're talking overalls. Like yeah.
His bib overalls, yeah. And he of course, I think he had... I think he wore Liberty overalls. I think that was his brand of choice. But anyway, his good overalls he'd bring out for special occasions like weddings or funerals. But he was always wearing bibs, truly. So that's based on him.
Well, the noises are just so they're so perfect. Have you always done characters? Like when you were growing up, did you see these people and imitated them?
Yes, absolutely. So that was the thing in my family. It was just like, Andi Marie, imitate Carletta. Show us how Carletta does her thing. And in celebrities, I would impersonate them. And I mean, there are just videos of me after watching My Fair Lady, like doing a whole Eliza Doolittle monologue. That was just something I kind of had a knack for mimicry. And I also was born to older parents. My parents were in their 40s when they had me. So I was kind of the baby grandbaby. And when I said, I'm going to put on the entire Easter play and I'm going to play every part, including Jesus, the Roman soldiers, Mary Magdalene, and that is a true story. I'm not joking. Everybody sat down and watched it. So I kind of had a built-in audience.
Oh, wow. Well, so at the let's sort of stick in, social media times for a second. What is the creative process for making these videos?
I try to have some kind of schedule because you have to enforce it on yourself. I try to block off a couple days a week where I'm like, these are going to be content creation days. And I just have to hope that I get inspired on those days. I really do, because that's the way it is creatively. It's like sometimes you're cooking and sometimes when you're hot, when you're not, you're not. And I think you just have to block off time in order for that to happen. So at some point I'll have at least one little idea,
Yeah.
But there are times in your life where you're like, I was cooking then and I'm not cooking this month. I'm just really not cooking.
Wow. Well, do you feel like you just need to take these characters you've created and have them do new things, or are you looking for new characters?
Both.
Yeah.
Both. Because I do love these characters. These are real to me. I think, not to elevate myself to the level of a novelist, but I've fallen in love with these people too. And I'm kind of protective of them. So yes, I'd like to see them venture out into the world, and that's funny, putting these people in out of the box situations. But I'm always looking to create the next person because I'm just curious.
Well, one of the things that people seem to resonate with is all the sayings that come out of these bits.
Mm-hmm.
How do you remember them all? Are they in you as well?
Oh, yeah. How do you remember the smell of your mom's hair? Those things kind of linger on you if you've been around them enough.
What are some of your favorites?
I love confusing people with, I say Kjarn a lot, and I didn't growing up, but it was something my grandma would always say.
Kjarn. I feel like I've heard of this.
Well, it's a derivative of the word carrion, and it's more prominent in Appalachia, some other parts of the South, but it's very much more of an Appalachian phrase. And my grandma would pull something out of the fridge, and if it had been in there too long, she'd go, "Ooh, that's plumb Kjarny. We're gonna have to throw that away." And for her to throw something away, it had to be bad. You know what I'm saying? So, most people, when I say Kjarn or Kjarny, they don't know what that means. So that one's kind of exciting.
I see. So you pull that one out when you kind of want people to ask.
Yeah, when I want to
what's
jab.
What's the story on that?
But I like to say, I'm tickled to hear that. I'm tickled to because to me that's a jolly phrase.
Yeah. Well, have you lost any of those sayings as you've been out of Scott County?
Yes. I've lost a lot of it, but I tell you what, Scott County's only 3.5 hours away from Nashville. So, and I'm still very, very close with my parents and the rest of my family. So I make it a point to try to go up there and visit them once a month if I can. So I would say, I'm still
to do some studying.
And now I'm mining my mom for content. She's part of the content creation now.
I wondered if that was your mom in some of these.
They go, that lady with the hat, that's my mama. Yes.
Well, she seems like she has at least some of the bug you have and knack for just trying to be funny. Did you learn this from her?
Absolutely. My mom was supposed to be a child star, and in her own way she was. They were traveling gospel singers, and they performed on Mulls and Kaz Walker and on the Grand Ole Opry many, many times. And RCA, when my mom was 6 years old, tried to sign her, said that they were going to make her the next Brenda Lee. And my grandpa said, she's not going to sing secular music. She's only going to sing for the Lord. So she grew up in the spotlight in her own way, but, kind of, I guess, retired her persona in order to be a mother and honestly foster my love of acting and being on the stage.
What's it been like for her to see you kind of in that spotlight that she thought was for her at some point?
Honey, she's happier than I am. I tell you what, if somebody comes up at a restaurant or anything, and it makes me happy. I love talking to people, but if they come up and we're just having a nice interaction, she goes, "Oh, come on, sit down with us." She loves it. Take a picture with her. She'll take a picture with you. I mean, she's like pimping me out a little bit.
Well, we're gonna take a trip to Scott County when we return, but we need to take our first break. We'll come back with more from Andi Marie Tillman. We'll talk about growing up in East Tennessee and making our way to the big city here. Stay with us. This is Nashville.
Funding for This Is Nashville comes from you, our listeners, and Music City Prep Clinic, Nashville-based provider for PrEP and offering comprehensive sexual health services in an environment designed to be safe, professional, and shame-free. Learn more at musiccityprep.org.
I'm Blake Farmer, and this is Nashville. Our guest this hour is Andi Marie Tillman, an entertainer with many talents, including singing and songwriting. And so much of her work harkens back to the place she grew up, in the foothills of Appalachia, Scott County, Tennessee. It's a place she pokes fun at in her sketches, but there's also a sense of nostalgia through it all, which comes through loud and clear in her music. Here's a bit of Highway 63.
I hear grandma's hands clapping flour into morning, taste of peeled and salted apple, sugar on a grapefruit. This is my song, my balm in Gilead. Oh, oh, asphalt river of dreams, clay to starshine I sing.
It goes on to talk about the dollar store where they don't recognize you anymore. Is that true, Andi Marie? They don't know you anymore?
Well, I think recently that might have changed a little bit, but it was really weird a couple years ago to go into the Dollar General, because they're all throughout Appalachia. And I walked in and there was this, 20-something running the cash register. And it was kind of funky to be like, oh, I'm Claudia's daughter. And he was like, I don't.
Can't place it.
Can't quite place that. So that was funky because, you come from a town where everybody kind of knows everybody. So.
But you're saying now
I moved.
They know you more from the TikTok
From
videos.
TikTok than they know me from, Claudia's daughter or Andy's daughter.
Well, how long have you been gone?
It's going to be 13 years in April.
Wow.
So that's a while.
How have your views changed of home since you left?
Much less bitter. I remember, I think as a kid, I really loved my family. I loved my friends. I loved the scenery where I was. Just beautiful, awe-inspiring hills.
Yeah, this is up there near Big South Fork,
yeah,
isn't Scott County, right?
Big
and
South Fork.
Rugby, Oneida.
Yeah, look at you.
What else is what city, what town?
It is Oneida.
Oneida's where you're
Yeah,
from. That's
yeah.
the county seat or something.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it is. So anyway, I just felt, held back because I didn't feel like there were a lot of opportunities to perform and to do artistic things there. So now I see that it inspired everything that I do. It made me who I am. So,
You're saying there would have been a time that you would have
I
couldn't have
resented
imagined
being
that you would actually lean into that part of you.
100%. I tried when I first moved to Nashville. I was like, I'm not going to write anything that's like country. I want to be the next Joni Mitchell. And so, obviously, you see that I can get kind of prosy in the way that I write with my lyrics, but I really wanted to set myself apart and not even use the kind of clever turn of phrases that come from my childhood. But now I realize why would I ever turn away from that? I don't know.
Wow. Well, I can imagine to, let's say, folks who are listening to this, which is mostly Middle Tennessee, they're like, oh, yeah, I get that. That sounds like some of my family, or I had an upbringing similar to that. But I'm assuming that your audience is all over the place. Like, what do people in, Southern California make of it?
I don't know. It's specifically Southern California, but it is all over. I'll tell you this. I get messages, people from Ireland and Australia, and a lot of things about like Happy Easter from us in the UK or things like that. But when I was sending out my first like shirts that I made, it was so exciting to me to like check off like 40 states. That was crazy to me. And I'm so glad I had the hands-on process that first time before I figured out how to automate it. But just being able to be like, oh my gosh, this is going to Nevada and this is going to Montana. And how did they find me,
Social media is like that, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, so what was growing up like in Scott County? I mean, you were talking about being, putting on the Easter play all by yourself, but did it revolve around church, a lot of it? Like,
Yeah.
What was life?
Yeah, I mean, most of the people there are religious and very specifically, Christian and Southern Baptist. My family was a little, I don't want to say fully ostracized, but they were kind of oddballs because they were holiness.
As in Pentecostal.
Pentecostals, So even that is a lot of people be like, that's a little out there for me, But
So was this like kind of even for Oneida, like kind of the country church that's way back, sort of the small place, or is it a...
Yeah, so my family ended up going to a Baptist church, and then they all like stopped praying in tongues. When they did that, they stopped doing it in front of other people, but they would still like have church meetings in the home and be like, well, if you want hands put on you and you want us to anoint you with oil, you just come back to Claudius and we'll do that.
Oh, so they were the Pentecostal side of the Southern Baptist
Yes.
Church in town. Wow.
Yeah, like they were the rogue.
Well, you actually have a great preacher imitation that does a lot of
Yeah.
Is that real?
Hey, man, Lord God, tonight I was going to tell you, we're going to have that Easter play. Sister Carol's going to she's going to do soup afterward. Thank you, Lord.
But anyway, yes, that's a huge part of that culture. It's a huge part of the holiness culture. And even some independent Baptists, honestly.
Yeah. Well, are you, in fact, so much of your humor is kind of poking fun at church stuff, and I wonder if you are careful about that. Like, are you razzing it? Are you just like, I don't know. What's your relationship with that like now?
It certainly doesn't come from a mean-spirited place because I respect that, and I consider myself a person of faith, but maybe it looks a little different than it used to. But it comes from a place of love, good humor, and I genuinely think that most people feel that. If I'm just looking at surveying the comments, I think most people get that. There are some people that get their little panties in a twist, and I can't help them, and maybe God can.
Well, so much of what you put your finger on is like kind of Appalachian type culture, and I guess here in Nashville, it's like
Southern.
It's a little more Southern, I think, as we think of ourselves than Appalachia. But what do you feel like is the difference, the dividing line?
I don't know. All my people would call Nashville big city. I mean, big time. When I moved, they were like, well, Anne Marie's up there in Nashville. The Lord knows what she's going to get into. Because I might as well have moved to New York or all the way across the country. So I would say that, I realize now that there is a lot of shared culture being here, especially people that grew up in Nashville in the 90s, and they're like, there's all these rural areas. But I will say there, even just based on like the kind of work that a lot of our elders did, like my great-grandfather was a coal miner. I mean, coal mining and timber is huge in that area, and it brings with it its own culture and its own lineage. So I think, it's kind of complex, and I'm not a great historian, but I would say that there is kind of a difference, and you can feel the 3 hours. You really can.
Yeah. Well, you point out at some point that like the hills themselves, the mountains, become a bit isolating. And I could imagine, you can sort of see why that would happen. You go to someplace like Jellicoe and you're like, oh, I can see why this would keep its own culture because it's
insular.
geographically cut off.
Yeah, 100%. And that mattered more before the internet, before cars and interstates and stuff like that. That culture had time and space to breed.
Yeah. And I guess that's why it's so identifiable, because the accents, the sayings, because they really are a slice of life from way back. How did you get into acting? I mean, like as a child, I'm sure it was beyond trying to entertain your family members. So when did you really get on a stage for the first time?
Well, I will tell you, there was a family friend who, when I was probably about 11, 12 years old, said, we seen Andi Marie in that school play, and they're going to do regional auditions in Knoxville. You ought to take her. And of course, I heard that, and I begged my parents to go audition. Like, they didn't drag me. I begged to go audition for this thing. And through tears, I got through my first audition and ended up getting a call back. And that kind of that was my gateway into regional theater, because I did a performance at Bijou Theater in Knoxville. And then I started doing stuff at the Cumberland County Playhouse in Crossville.
Oh, yeah.
And so did that for many years. I don't know, 6, 7 years.
So your parents would just make the drive
My
back and
poor
forth
mother,
to rehearsals?
I think about that. I mean, seriously.
An hour maybe, right?
An hour. And about an hour and 15 minutes, honestly, to get to Crossville from Scott County. And think about that. That was such a sacrifice for my mom. And we're talking when the show was in production, it was maybe 5 performances a week.
Wow.
I could do it. Like, it was my joy to do that. But how did my mom just go there and sit through it all? I mean,
did she talk about that at the time?
Yes. Sometimes she would be really tired. My mom, she had shingles. She was dealing, I didn't realize, with major health stuff at the time. So there were times when I think she would get worn down and maybe we got into a fight, especially when I'm a teenager. And she'd be like, you will one day, it makes me emotional, but realize what a sacrifice I'm making because I care about you.
If you're just tuning in, this is Nashville. I'm your host, Blake Farmer. Our guest is Andi Marie Tillman, entertainer, best known for Appalachian characters on TikTok and Instagram, also a writer and a singer. So talk to me about the decision to I'm going to go to Nashville. How did that come about?
Well, honey, I thought I was going to be a songwriter. I did. I really thought I had it. And I'm not trying to put myself down, but I just was not very successful at that. But that was my plan.
I see.
Was I'm going to go to Nashville. I'm going to write songs. And I completely set acting aside and didn't even want to talk about it. I was like, no, I'm an artist. And I want everybody to know that I am an artist now.
Wait, so are you saying did you come and start trying to do co-writes and you're trying to get in that whole circle?
Did shows, awful shows that 3 people would show up to, and do a bill where there's 5 of us on the bill, and it was just basically just changing out drummers the whole night. I mean, it was I'm so glad I did it, but I was kind of miserable while I was doing it. Because I think I lost a little bit of my humor. I lost a little bit of my playfulness about myself. I really wanted to be taken seriously. And maybe every early 20s wants that. Do you know?
Yeah, I could see why you actually, want to be taken seriously, not just playing for laughs. When did you realize that was your calling? Was the art? There's artistry over here, even when it's wearing wigs and painting your face.
Oh, I just had to get real depressed and then build myself up from there.
That's the secret, y'all.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, have you been in the kind of acting theater scene here? Do you do stage plays?
I did a couple. Smyrna, there is this really good, I don't know if it's still there. They had a really good community theater thing. And I did that just to fill myself up and remember that enjoyed acting, probably. That's been 10 years ago.
Well, is Nashville a place that you can make it as an actor, like make that your job?
Most people are making it their side project.
Yeah.
But I mean, people are getting cast in roles, and more production is coming to Nashville.
Yeah.
You know, I know people that make pretty good livings doing commercials. There are a lot of, I mean, like even 911 Nashville, like everybody has basically, you know, people are getting cast for that left and right. So I feel encouraged by that. But I do think that most of the actors here have, I'm not going to use the word consign themselves, but have said, you know, they have to get a little bit more punk rock about it. And they have to say, we're going to make these things that we want to make, because there's a lot of us here that were writers and singers and this. There's a lot of talent here. Oh my gosh, so many talented people. So I feel encouraged when people say anything about DIY, because I'm of that ethos.
Yeah, I mean, even let's say your videos. I mean, I know there are people who are, let's call them content creators, who have like a whole team. I understand you kind of do it all. That's the secret.
It's killing me, Blake. It's killing me.
I mean, editing the videos, posting, optimizing, whatever the things that we do. Well, you know, have you had to? You talked about being here and having so much talent here. What does that do for other artists? Like, does it inspire you to do something? Does it say, oh, I'm not as talented as that person? Like some comparisons that might not be so helpful. Like, what do you find it helpful to be surrounded by artists?
I do now, because I have a sense of self. But there was a time when I felt defeated, because I think I was big fish in small pond. That's what I think I was. And so I step out and I realize, gosh, there's a lot of people who are funnier, smarter, prettier, more talented than me. So what am I going to do now? Well, nobody has my story, and I'm sure I didn't write this out in a journal. This is all just time, revelation, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it sounds like, I assume especially on the songwriting front, you just realize like, oh, there's a bunch of people who are quite good at that.
Oh, yeah.
And you have to work like a dog at it.
And you have to work like a dog, and you have to be committed to only that. And so now for me, music is, I feel joyous, and I don't feel like people have to like what I do. It's kind of nice if they do, if they say nice things, but that is not my identity.
Well, we need to take one more break.
Okay.
And when we come back, we're gonna get into some of that range that you have, doing a little bit of everything. So stay with us. We'll be back with Andi Marie Tillman. This is Nashville.
Funding for This is Nashville comes from you, our listeners, and Music City Prep Clinic, Nashville-based provider for PrEP, and offering comprehensive sexual health services in an environment designed to be safe, professional, and shame-free. Learn more at musiccityprep.org.
I'm Blake Farmer, and this is Nashville. Our guest this hour has got range, and not just the singing range. Andi Marie Tillman may get most of her material from Appalachia, as we've talked about, but it's not just Papaw and Patsy. She's also developed characters like Nosferatu, a vampire country music star.
Country
music star. In one clip, Nosferatu gives us a tour of the house, almost like it's an episode of Cribs.
This is where I take all the men. But of course I don't sleep here, I just pretend. You know, I actually get around quite a bit. But there was an unfortunate mishap last time. I had to figure out how I was going to bury the body. But you know, he did indie rock, and nobody really even cared about him. So that was very fortunate.
I was watching this, and I followed a link and started to understand, okay, how you might be able to make a living off of these beautiful characters you've created. You do have some merchandise. You can also be a Patreon member and get the full tour of Nosferatu's home, I think, rather than just, the minute-long clip. And then you even offer personalized videos from your characters. So have you been able to turn these characters into a career?
Yes, finally.
Yeah. Well, what really supports you? Not to sort of dig into the finances of it. I was so struck by your material that it doesn't come off as a lot of what people do in content creator land, where it's just like, oh, they're obviously trying to get us to buy whatever drink or whatever this, or there's product placement or something. But there are things that, so yeah, how does it work for you?
Well, I am making a decent enough living, okay? Yeah. I'm making a decent enough living to where I don't have to go out and get another job. That's what I tell people.
Well, that's big. That's big.
That's big. And my thing was always, not always, but in the last 2 years when this took off, was looking at the long game because I want to get a show out of it. So to me, I'm looking at that payoff. So I don't do a lot of brand deals. I've had some things come to me. I've had quite a few things that have come in front of me that I was like, that doesn't make sense for me. That doesn't fit seamlessly with what I do.
You're saying you've turned things down?
Yeah, because I thought it made no sense. I couldn't fit it in organically. There are other brands that I can't say that I'm working on now that I think are perfect product placement, and I would love to work with those brands. But to me, I just don't. If it fits in seamlessly, that's great. I don't want to be hawking products to people because I'm looking at the long game.
Well, seems probably wise. So you tease this sort of television show, or a show, you said, not a television show. What do you mean a show? Like with these characters are in it?
Yes.
What would it be? I mean, not that I don't know, say what you want.
Well, one I don't want to give away just because it might be, but one of them would be an animated series. So
well, they do seem like
they're
cartoon
larger than
characters.
Life. Yeah, totally. And I like the idea that anybody could watch them. Like, kids might fall. I mean, I think of King of the Hill and stuff like that, where it's kind of.
I think so too. What would it be if these folks were on a stage?
Well, hopefully we're going to find out very soon. I have been talking with Third Coast Comedy actually about doing a one-woman show early next year.
Yeah, you don't need other people. You got all these characters within you.
Well, no.
Who else could do them?
Honey, but it is. I didn't realize how difficult it is to, the logistics of it all with a one-woman show is because you got to figure out what's worth the quick change, what you could do comedically as a change over. It's like have a mic on while you're behind a curtain, and that's part of the shtick. So that has been the hardest thing is that I've written bits, but it was trying to smash them all together within a 1 hour period.
Yeah. Well, some of these costumes are really no joke. I mean, how long does it take you to get ready for? I mean, Nosferatu. I don't know if you call that makeup. It's like you paint your whole face. You've got these pointy ear things. You got the teeth. I don't know. Are those suckers glued on? Nails.
Honey, it's like an hour and a half to do all that. So again, you have to kind of say sans Nosferatu, or you do a pre-record that you're able to play in the middle of it. But those are all things you have to plan ahead.
So what about the future of variety shows?
To me, that's like the most exciting front because I never wanted to get into it just to be a one-woman show. I always dreamed of having a Carol Burnett thing. So you have Tim Conway. You got your sideman that might even be better than you, which I maybe that's sacrilege. I'm not trying to say that he's better, but he is just as talented as Carol Burnett, So I think that the future is the future is the past. Or harkens back to this variety show and vaudeville and like larger than life and like we're really gonna put on a production for you because we've done the stripped down indie stuff and the vulnerable and the realism. I'm over it. I want theater. I want things that are larger than life to transport me.
Well, in all this, you seem like somebody who really is, I mean, even turning down brand deals and stuff. I mean, it seems like artist first, kind of business second. How do you balance artistic expression with, trying to make a living at it?
I'm learning. I'm in the process of learning right now. I think you kind of have to have a strong moral compass, and I think that comes trial through fire. I've been poor, honestly. I've scrubbed toilets. I've done all the jobs. So I don't want to go back to that because I don't want to not do this, but I'm not afraid. Does that make sense?
Yeah. You're like, listen, I know that is something that life is not over.
It's not beneath me.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, talk to me about being kind of in this digital era. It strikes me that I'm not sure what you would have done with these characters if you hadn't been able to sort of get them out on a place like a TikTok, which I will admit I don't even have the TikTok app because I think I do too much scrolling as it is.
Sure.
But being an artist kind of in this digital age, what has that been a pro or a con?
I'm going to have to say it's a pro just because that's the outlet that I used. But at the same time, I can see how it could be changing our neurochemistry, So I have my own problems with the idea of short form content. And that is not my long-term goal because I see something that's more immersive vision. But I'll say this, you work with what you're given. And all I've wanted to do is to bring people joy. And this is where people watch.
Do you have a good idea of what will work well?
Sometimes, and sometimes I find myself getting irritated by it. And I know that's no fun to hear. But sometimes, I would like to go for the weirder joke. And that's better live, actually, because usually the people are ready to go there with you, and when people are scrolling, they're in the mode of scroll. So you kind of have to snag them.
Yeah.
And so sometimes I don't like that gotcha snag thing, but I think, well, the whole joke is funny, so I'll just do the snag, and then I'll let the whole thing pay off.
Wait, so what's a snag? I mean, like.
Well, I don't even like the fact that I have to, like for the first thing that went viral, I thought, I should tell people what's about to happen in this scene with the Appalachian Papaws and Hardee's. And I said, your Papaw meeting his friend at Hardee's. Well, I think I want people to stumble upon it and be like, oh my God, this is ridiculous. But instead, I have to tell people what's about to happen. Does that make sense?
You're saying you wish you didn't have to have the label, that people started watching it and are like, what is going on here? And they figure out like, they're meeting at Hardee's.
Yeah, because it's to me, that's the fun of it, is figuring out what's happening. That's part of the joke to me. But that would happen in a live setting. Those are the things that I'm missing out on.
Because they can't scroll. They're at least going to sit there. They're not going to walk out.
They've committed to being in that room with you.
That's interesting. If you're just tuning in, I'm sorry. You've missed a lot of this. You're going to have to go back and listen. But I'm Blake Farmer. This is Nashville. We're with the brilliant Andi Marie Tillman for just a few more minutes here. Are there other ways these characters can entertain people, in kind of the digital realm?
Say more about that.
Well, I saw that you even can people like pay for you to do like a custom
I love
message
those.
to do they take you up on the offer?
I'm telling you. Oh yeah. How many hundreds of cameos have I done at this point?
Hundreds. So somebody asks you, what do they ask you to do?
Some of them will be very basic, and those I don't like as much because I can't play as much. So some people will just be like, Patty is turning 55. Please say hi from Rob.
Oh, I see. Birthday messages.
Yes, but some people will add tons and tons of things. But, I've done everything from birthdays to like funeral messages.
Whoa.
Yes, people that were going through chemo and transplants and stuff like that. And to me, what an honor that is. That doesn't make me feel heavy. I feel so honored that those people entrusted me with making their friend laugh in some of the darkest times of their life.
Wow. That really does seem special. I wonder if at this moment, as you're sort of trying to figure out, what do we do with these characters that people really love, and they love the material? Maybe not all of it, the stuff that I want them to love, but they. Do you feel like you have to kind of make the most of this moment, that it could be fleeting?
Yeah, and I hate that. I hate that I did feel that way. But maybe everybody does. Everybody, there is that seize the moment because you're hot 1 minute and then you're not. But I can only do what I can do, and I have to go at my pace, and I have to believe that I didn't know that this was going to happen. This all kind of took me by surprise. So I'm looking at the long game.
Well, how do you feel like you need to draw like a lot of people who are content creators? It's kind of their life that they're putting out on display. I feel like yours is more characters than you, but you do also rant and just sort of talk to people. Do you have you given too much of yourself away?
I think about that sometimes. The thing I think about that the most with is I want people to know that I have a husband so that people don't think I'm ever fishing for things.
So you mention him casually just so they know?
But even putting pictures up of us, but then there's a part of me that's a sacred place in my life. My marriage, that's a secret part of my life. So if I've done that, I'm like, well, no, I want people to know that I'm married and that I'm proud of him, but I don't really want to share him with these people. They don't know him. They don't know us. What am I doing? So I don't bring him into my content very often.
So he's not behind any of those masked people he doesn't play.
No, but he did play a dead body recently in a Nosferatu sketch, and he was fabulous.
The dead body. Give it to him. Give it to him, folks. Well, let's maybe wrap it up with something here. I wonder if you ever get, you had this discouraging period with songwriting, obviously having more success, but it still has its own challenges in this kind of content creator world. Do you ever get discouraged, feel like shutting it all down, just going to take the job in the county clerk's office like Patsy had? You know what I mean?
Every week I look at my husband at one point and I say, I'm going to go work at the library. And he said, do it 100%. But would you miss this? Yeah, I guess I would. I'm one of them though. You never know. I might abandon it all. I'm crazy enough to do it.
Yeah. Well, what is it about having it just as a side project that just doesn't feel, right to you?
Well, it does. I mean, it takes all of me. I put a lot of myself into it. And I think most people that think of that as a side project, and I don't want to hype myself up too much, but look at the level of stuff that I've put out there and over the years and the amount of it. There's no way that the average person could do that if it was just their side project.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, any advice to folks who are hearing this and thinking, is this something I should go hard into? Content creation?
Content creation? You don't call it, it calls you. And I'd say put it out there, go fishing, and I tell you what, you'll know if it can support you. You'll know if you can phase out of that other job.
Well, you will know words of wisdom this hour. Andi Marie Tillman, it's been such a pleasure to have you on. I can't wait to listen back to this interview myself.
Well, don't we all love your voice that much, Blake?
Well, thank you for being with us. Hope you come back.
Yes.
And thank you for tuning in this hour. This is Nashville is a production of Nashville Public Radio. We air these profile interviews most Mondays. If you're looking for another, may I recommend Dr. Britt Stone, a Vanderbilt neurologist and herbal medicine guru who charmed us while she taught us a thing or two. Listen to the podcast feed or at thisisnashville.org. Today's episode produced and directed by Josh Deepen. Board operator, Liv Lombardi. The masterminds behind that theme music are LaRange and Namir Blade. The conversation doesn't have to end here. You can comment, tell us what you want to hear on the show. Leave us a message in a voice of your choosing at 615-751-2500. You can also find us on Blue Sky and Instagram, and on X at This Is Nashville. I'm Blake Farmer. Go in peace.